A sport compact with a 440? Are you kidding me? The Dodge Challenger was created solely to compete with the likes of the Chevrolet Camaro and the Ford Mustang in the pony car class. And although this one is a bruiser, it represents the small line of cars from Dodge in 1971. Dodge actually called the Challenger's market segment the sports compact segment. Interesting to see how that term has evolved. You'd never find a sports compact with a 440 under the hood today. The Challenger line started with the low-cost Challenger Coupe, which ticked down the road with a thrifty 125 horsepower, 198 cubic inch slanted 6-cylinder engine. And moving to the top of the line, you land on the RT model, like our feature car. The RT came standard with a 300 horsepower, 383 Magnum V8, but ours was ordered with the multi-carbed 440 and a parts list selected for the drag strip. This Challenger RT has a great driveline for drag racing, starting with the Shaker hood scoop fed 440 6-pack V8. It's hooked to a 727 automatic trans with a right torque converter. It's got a Dana 60 rear end with 410 gears, spinning these big F60 15 tires. It's just a recipe for a whole lot of fun. It's common today to think of the 426 Hemi as the pinnacle of Dodge performance, but if you wanted a high-powered, torquey big block that was strong enough to take daily beatings, well then the 440 was a hot ticket. Shotgunning fuel through 3 2-barrel 6-pack carburetors, the 440 squeezed the mixture with a 10.3-to-1 compression ratio under cast iron heads and turned it into 385 horsepower at 4,700 RPM and 330 pound-feet of torque at the same engine speed. And although it only had 2-bolt main caps, they were meaty, so the 440 block was strong enough to support the forged crank and beefed up connecting rods. The cast iron 440 intake and heads flowed well enough to produce quick acceleration, and it all went down the tubes with low restriction manifolds and dual exhaust. Ours breathes through the optional Shaker hood scoop, allowing more cold fresh air in with less resistance than the standard hood. This one is backed by a TorqueFlite automatic 3-speed transmission shifted on the floor, and a Dana 60 rear axle equipped with a limited slip differential and 4 10-to-1 gears intended to get the car off the line in a hurry. These originally came with 14-inch wheels, but ours is rolling on Goodyear Polyglass GT F60 15s wrapped around stamped steel wheels, possibly sized like the Hemi cars had. Even so, they're prone to spinning, even with the rear suspension upgrades. Imagine that. New 1971 Dodge Challenger RTs with 446 packs were good for low 14-second quarter-mile times the very day you brought it home. And like a lot of cars of the day, these really responded well to stickier tires, ignition tuning, headers, and other go-fast modifications. For many, the 12s were only a weekend of wrenching away. Challenger RTs benefited from a more rigid structure with the inclusion of the convertible body, torque boxes, and steel reinforcements, and the suspension received stiffer torsion bars and an oversized sway bar up front, and the rear got heavy-duty springs. Firm ride shocks were an upgrade for Dodge. The cockpit of our 71 feels a bit bigger than the Mustang and Camaro, and it's outfitted with rally gauges and a clock, and the TorqueFlite shifter commands from the center console. A cabin heater is really the only doodad on board, and the windows are controlled by cranks. 121 440 six-pack Challengers rolled off the line for 1971, and although the size is similar to a Camaro and Mustang, this Challenger seems more imposing. The code V6V Dayglow orange stripe is more of a warning than a styling accent, kind of like the equivalent of muscle car caution tape. A deck lid mounted spoiler adds to the aggressive look. The black steel wheels and hubcaps add to the rolled up sleeves look of the car, and the stance seems to ask, what are you looking at? We'd like to thank our friends here at the Brothers Collection for allowing us to beat up their fun toys for your viewing enjoyment. And if you like this stuff, click all the like and subscribe buttons you can, and we'll keep making more episodes of Muscle Car of the Week.